Dear brothers and sisters, peace be with you. Before the sun rises, before the noise of the world comes rushing in, there is a sacred space, a quiet moment where your soul can breathe. In that silence, the Word of God speaks gently, not with thunder, but with light. Today, I invite you to begin your day not with fear, not with worry, but with Psalm 27, a psalm that can truly change your life. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? Let us pause for a moment. Close your eyes. If you wish, breathe. Let this truth settle into your heart. The Lord is your light. The Lord is your salvation. There is nothing to fear. The Lord is my light. These are not just words on a page. They are a cry of the heart, a heart that has seen shadows, a heart that has walked through long nights and yet believes that dawn will come. There is something sacred about the early morning, before the traffic, before the meetings, before the worries return like restless waves. There is a stillness. And in that stillness, the psalm reminds you, the Lord is my light. Not just light in general, my light, personal, present, patient. We live in a world that often feels dark, the darkness of loneliness, the darkness of injustice, the darkness of fear that hides behind a smile. So many of our brothers and sisters wake each day not knowing if they will eat or where they will sleep. A mother in a refugee camp rocking her child with empty arms. She needs to know that someone sees her, that God's light reaches even there. And it does. Jesus too knew darkness. He was born in a stable, not a palace. He walked among the sick, the sinners, the forgotten. And yet wherever he went, he brought light. Not the kind that blinds, but the kind that warms. A light that reveals dignity. A light that invites communion to say, the Lord is my light. Is not to pretend the darkness isn't real. It is to believe that it is not final. That even in the deepest night, a flicker of hope still burns. That even when the world says, you are alone, God whispers, I am with you. Let this be our morning prayer. Let it be the posture of our heart. When we rise, let us rise in the light. Let us bring that light to others, to the neighbor we ignore, to the elder who sits in silence, to the child who waits for kindness. This is our life, but perhaps in His mercy, He asks us to carry that light into the places where it is needed most. Do not be afraid to let the light in. Do not be afraid to be light for another. The Lord is your light. Let it begin there. Though an army encamp against me, my heart shall not fear. What beautiful courage these words hold. And yet, how difficult they are to live. Fear, my dear brothers and sisters, is something we all know. It knocks quietly in the night and rises with us in the morning. It hides in the hospital diagnosis, in the empty kitchen cupboard, in the trembling voice of a refugee asking for shelter. Fear is not a stranger. It sits beside the lonely and walks beside the abandoned. But Psalm 27 offers us a holy defiance. It does not deny the presence of fear. It speaks directly into it. Though war rise against me, not if, but though, because suffering comes, rejection comes, the voices that say we are not enough, not worthy loved, they come, but the psalmist is not escape. It is trust. I remember the face of a grandmother who lost her home to a fire. Everything was gone. Photographs, blankets, her Bible turned to ash. Yet when I spoke with her, she smiled and said, "They did not take my hope." That is faith. That is victory in the heart. Jesus, too, stood in the face of fear. He stood before the angry crowds, before the cross, and he did not run. He gave himself in love. Love does not eliminate fear by force. It transforms it with presence, with mercy, with trust that the Father is near, even in the dark. We may not face armies in the flesh, but we all face battles. And in those battles, we are not alone. The Lord stands with us, beside the homeless child, beside the prisoner, beside the soul who cries in silence. And in Him, we find a strength not our own. So do not be ashamed of your fear. Bring it to the Lord. Speak it aloud in prayer. And listen for His gentle reply. Do not be afraid, I am with you. Let that be enough for today. Let that be your peace. Let that be the beginning of your courage. One thing I ask of the Lord, to dwell in His house all the days of my life. How simple, how pure. Just one thing. In a world that tells us to want more success, more comfort, more recognition. Psalm 27 reminds us to want less and to want better. Not many things, but one thing. To dwell in the presence of God. To rest in His gaze. To sit at His feet, like Mary did in the Gospel, while the world bustles around us with its noise and demands. There is a quiet beauty in simplicity. I think of a young man I met once in a poor neighborhood. He had no job, no possessions, only a small crucifix hanging from a nail above his bed. He said to me, "I have what I need. Jesus knows my name." There was peace in his voice. Not the peace that comes from comfort, but the peace that comes from communion. The peace of someone who had found the one thing. Jesus invites us into this kind of life. A life centered not on chasing, but on abiding A life that does not ask, what can I achieve today? But where is God today? To dwell in His house means to walk with Him always, even in places the world considers unworthy, the slums, the prisons, the hospital beds. It means to see His face in the face of the other, especially the forgotten, the wounded, the ignored. To dwell with God is not a dream for the perfect. It is a call for all of us, especially those who feel far away. His door is always open. His table always has room. So let us ask each morning and each night, Lord, let me dwell with you. Let me find you in the poor, in the silence, in the breaking of the bread. Let us desire less, so we may love more. Let us make space for the one thing that truly matters. And if we feel distracted, lost, or tired, begin again. Begin with this one desire. God will meet us there. He always does. Wait for the Lord. Be strong. And let your heart take courage. How often we forget the holiness of waiting. In our world, we are taught that waiting, weakness. We rush, we hurry, we become impatient when things do not go as planned. But the psalm teaches us something different. Waiting is not passive. Waiting is an act of trust. It is a posture of the heart that says, even when I do not see, I believe. Even when I do not understand, I remain. I remember a woman I met in a small rural village. She waited each day beside a well for water that would come only when the rains fell. Her family depended on that well. Some years, the rains were late, and yet she came every day, bucket in hand, praying silently as she waited. Even if it does not come today, she once told me, God sees me here. I am not alone. That is faith. To wait and not despair. To wait and still love. Jesus too waited. He waited in the desert. He waited in the garden. He waited on the cross for the Father's will to be fulfilled. And still he loved. Still he forgave. Still he gave himself. We must learn this kind of waiting. Not the waiting that complains, but the waiting that hopes. The waiting that holds the hand of the elderly neighbor. The waiting that sits quietly beside the sick. The waiting that continues to pray for peace when the world offers only conflict. Be strong. The psalm says, not strong in pride or power, but strong in mercy, strong in love, strong in the quiet confidence that God is near, even when His footsteps are not heard. So let us not grow weary in the waiting. Let us not lose heart when prayers seem unanswered. The Lord is faithful. The Lord is close. And those who wait in hope will never be put to shame. Wait with love. Wait with courage. Wait with your eyes on the one who sees you. He will come. He already walks beside you. I believe that I shall see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. What a bold hope this is. Not only to believe in heaven, not only to await God's glory beyond death, but to believe that His goodness can be seen here, now, in this broken and beautiful world. It is easy to believe in goodness when all is well. But what about when we look around and see violence, hunger, and despair? What about when the child cries from hunger, or the widow buries her son, or the refugee stands at a border, unwanted and unseen? Still, the psalmist dares to hope. Still, he lifts his eyes and says, I shall see it. This is not an RV optimism, but a faith forged in the fire of suffering. It is the vision of one who has walked through the valley and yet proclaims of God is still good. I once met a man who had lost everything in a flood, his home, his job, even a member of his family. He stood barefoot in the mud, tears in his eyes, and he said to me, but I'm alive. God must still want something from me. There must be some good left to do. That man had seen the goodness of the Lord, not in comfort, but in purpose, not in plenty, but in mercy. We see the goodness of the Lord each time a hand is held, a child is fed, a prisoner is visited, a stranger is welcomed. We see His goodness when love breaks through despair, when a heart opens again after being shut tight with grief. Yes, even in the land of the living, especially here, God reveals His kindness. This is the mission of every Christian, not only to hope for heaven, but to be signs of heaven here on earth, to let our words, our actions, our very presence whisper to the world, there is still goodness, there is still light, God is still here. So let us look for His goodness. Let us be His goodness. Let us walk through this life, even through its darkest corners, with eyes wide open and hearts ready to serve, believing always, and helping others to believe that love has not left us, that Christ still walks among us, that we shall see the goodness of the Lord, and when we see it, we shall rejoice. My dear brothers and sisters, we have walked together through the words of Psalm 27, a psalm of light, of courage, of trust. And in each verse, we have found not just ancient poetry, but a living invitation to stand firm in love, to wait with hope, to seek God's face in all things, and to believe. Yes, to truly believe that His goodness is not far from us, but near to the broken-hearted, near to the poor, near to you. Let us not leave these words behind as we go back to our daily lives. Let them walk with us. Let them shape how we speak, how we listen, how we forgive, how we serve. Let them become the breath of our morning and the peace of our evening. Let them help us to build a world that reflects the light of the Lord, a world where no one is left behind, where mercy triumphs over judgment, and where love, not fear, has the final word. Do not be afraid. Do not grow tired. Do not give up on goodness, not in yourself, not in others, not in the world. God is not finished. He is still working, still calling, still healing. And He has chosen you, yes, you, to be part of that healing. Go forward with courage. Go forward in peace. Be strong and let your heart take courage. Good luck on your journey. Thank you. Thank you from the depths of my heart for listening, for hoping, for believing. May the Lord bless you and keep you always in His love.